You've seen this happen over and over. There's an artist or producer that no one's cared about for years, and then suddenly everyone's a fan. It feels like they blew up overnight, but the weird thing is their music didn't suddenly get better. So what actually changed? Well, when I started making beats seriously, I was doing everything you're supposed to do. I was sending DMs to artists and producers that I wanted to work with. I was making beat making videos and uploading them on Instagram. And I even posted free type beats on YouTube every day for months. Despite all this consistency and hard work, my music still wasn't getting all that much attention. And just like anyone in my position, and probably yours too, I just kept trying to improve. I learned how to make better melodies, produce cleaner mixes, and I was even investing in higher quality sounds. Eventually, my music got pretty close to industry standard, but the attention it was getting didn't really change at all. And that part really messed with me, because if talent was what was holding me back, something definitely would have happened by then. But then I did something that really changed the way that I look at the music industry, and 4 years later, I've never told anybody this story. I happened to come up on my first major record label placement. It was a song called Check by Lakia featuring Moneybagg Yo, and they were clearing the record with me beforehand. So I knew there was going to be real attention on this collab way before anyone in the public did. And I almost didn't act on this because it felt really weird using information that wasn't public yet, but I realized I wasn't really doing anything wrong. I was just positioning myself early. So as soon as I found out that this song was going to come out, I started building a catalog on YouTube of Lakia x Moneybagg Yo type beats. Of course, nothing happened at first. They were getting the same views that all my other beats were getting, but when her tape dropped and that collab was released, it drew a lot of attention to people that were interested in that collab. And my music didn't improve, but the attention came anyway. And that's when it clicked for me. Nothing crazy happened to my skill. I didn't wake up a better producer that week. In fact, the beats I was posting after the song came out were the exact same as the ones I was posting before. I was using the same sounds, the same mixer presets, and I was doing the same workflow. The only thing that changed was attention. When people started paying attention to Lakia and Moneybagg Yo together, everything connected to that moment became more important, including my beats. Before the song came out, Lakia x Moneybagg Yo was just an idea, but after the song, it really became something that people cared about. Nothing changed about the two of them, but they had a completely new meaning when put together. And this is how momentum actually starts in music. Success doesn't happen when an artist or producer just gets really, really good. It happens when perception starts to shift. Once attention moves in your direction, it changes how people perceive everything that you put out. And when attention starts moving, it doesn't just sit there. It starts to multiply, because attention feeds attention. At first, people found out about my beats because they were connected to something that they already cared about, Lakia and Moneybagg Yo. When their song started getting attention, everything connected to that moment did as well. My beats weren't special, but they were connected to a moment that was. But once a few people are interested, momentum has the opportunity to take over. Those early clicks tell the algorithm, people like this. And when the algorithm thinks that people like this, it sends it to more people, those people click, and now it looks like those videos and those beats are actually doing really well. And when any music looks like it's popular, it gets way more attention. I mean, seriously, like between any two beats on YouTube, you're clicking on the one with 10,000 views over the one with 5, right? So once you have the numbers to back it up, that's when growth stops being slow and it starts to snowball. That's real momentum. It's the point where your journey stops feeling like you're pushing a rock uphill, and now the rock is just rolling down on its own. So let's recap. Connection brought attention, attention brought proof, and proof brings more attention. And that loop is what makes artists and producers blow up. Here's a side note. I want to be very, very clear about this one thing. None of this works if the music isn't good. Remember at the beginning of this video, I said that my response to low attention was dedicating myself to improving my craft and investing in my sound? Yeah, none of this happens if you skip that step. The reason why that momentum stuck when people found my beats is because I had spent years developing my sound to get there. And when the attention finally showed up, my music was ready for it. And to be honest, if my beats were trash, the snowball would have stopped immediately. So quality is the foundation and momentum is the multiplier. All right, back to the video. Now, here's where most emerging artists and creators mess up. They drop music or content assuming that people will judge it fairly. Like whoever sees it will already assume that it's good. But that's not how humans work. When someone sees a video with 0 likes, 0 views, 0 comments, they don't think this might be amazing. They think this is probably not worth my time. Seriously, think about what your brain subconsciously thinks when you see a song with under 1,000 streams on Spotify or a video with low views, probably like this one. As humans, we use attention as a shortcut for quality. It takes a real mental toll to make a judgment on content or music when you see that nobody else has. And that's one of the main driving mechanisms that makes viral songs and videos even more viral. So if you never trigger that first wave of attention, the snowball never starts rolling. When you don't get that first wave of attention, you never get that algorithm push. That algorithm push leads to the growth that you're looking for, and that growth is really necessary for people to really understand how good your music is. But that's why momentum isn't accidental. Smart artists don't just make good music. They optimize for that first audience. They intentionally create those early signals, like timing, positioning, content, narrative, or moments that people already care about. Because once that first group shows up, the system does the rest. So the real question isn't how do I blow up? It's how do I intentionally engineer my music and content for that first audience to trigger that snowball effect? That's not a question I can answer in one video, but that's what this channel is about. How producers and artists actually build leverage in today's market, what works, what doesn't, and how to stop competing in ways that are stacked against you. If this way of thinking makes sense to you, subscribe and stick around because I'm right here talking about it every week.